sledgehammer-wielding thugs were arrested after their attempts to raid a jeweler's were thwarted by have-a-go heroes. Incredible CCTV footage from the scene show the brazen robbers raiding Coleby's Jewelers, a spot popular with TOWIE stars for diamonds and watches worth thousands of pounds in Billericay, Essex. The gang screeched to a halt outside the store on 4 mopeds, using one bike to try and batter their way into the shop. As one of the gang repeatedly rams his vehicle into the door to keep it ajar, the rest of the crew smash the windows with their hammers and sledgehammers. But one brave passerby was seen taking matters into his own hands and hurls a wooden sign at the gang members as they try to blitz their way into the jewelers. A thug then picks up a hammer from the pavement and heads off to chase the man who threw the sign at him. But a blue van driver mounts the curb and rams one of the mopeds, stopping them in their tracks. The obs then begin to launch a barrage of blows against the van as it reverses, forcing them to leave Coleby's Jewelers empty-handed and on foot. Last year it was revealed that a crime is committed every hour by moped-riding thugs. In 2015, the Metropolitan Police recorded 4,647 moped-related crimes in the London, but in the year June 2016 to 2017, that figure had skyrocketed to 16,158. The more than threefold increase shows mopeds are becoming the vehicle of choices for criminals. With no sign that the trend will be brought to a halt anytime soon, February 4, 2018, pedestrian is stabbed in Oxford Street, London, as he tries to fight off a gang of moped muggers who stole his phone January 29. 2018, an 80-year-old pensioner bravely fights off 2 men on mopeds trying to steal another man's Vespa in Crouch End, North London, January 24, 2018. A moped-riding Sharak Shiraji, 22, who made off with more than £20,000 worth of designer clothes after threatening staff with a huge hunting knife, jailed following his 2016 attack in Islington, North London, December 22, 2017. 10 moped robbers who attacked 17 mobile phone shops in London during a terrifying wave of smash and grab raids were jailed for a total of 110 years. Today, November 2, 2017, Mohammed Naushad Kamal, 32, is likely to lose his sight after the vicious attack in Walthamstow, East London on Thursday. The teenagers, who were riding their own moped, tried to steal his 2,500-pound scooter before carrying out an almost identical acid attack 30 minutes later. November 2017. Shocking footage shows a scooter mount a pavement inches from a group of pedestrians gathered outside a pub before the thieves on board grab a phone from an unsuspecting pedestrian. July 14, 2017. Derek John, 16 at the time of the attacks, sprayed acid in the face of 6 delivery drivers during 90 minutes in London. Coleby's Jewelers declined to comment on the daytime raid. A source close to the store said they often have the cast from TOWIE in there and other big names. The raiders are the real losers here, as they went through all this effort and didn't take anything. The shop are the winners, as their security stood strong, and I've heard they have even added to it after the attack. Lauren Vinicum, who runs LJR Hair and Beauty, which is next to the Jewelers, said, "We do have a bit of a hero here, but I don't really want to talk about what happened. I want to put it behind us." The shop sells high-end items including a £40,000 watch and a £35,000 diamond ring. Essex police is appealing for witnesses following last Wednesday's attack and have arrested and charged 2 17-year-old boys, who cannot be named for legal reasons. A police spokesman said 2 17-year-old boys, who can't be named for legal reasons, are due to appear at Basildon Crown Court on March 6, in connection with an aggravated burglary at a jeweller's in High Street, Billericay on January 31st. A 17-year-old boy from Billericay who has been charged with aggravated burglary, and a 17-year-old boy from Romford who has been charged with criminal damage, aggravated burglary, and threatening a person with an offensive weapon, will remain in custody until the court date. Officers are still hunting for 2 other suspects. An 80-year-old pensioner has been hailed as supernan after she bravely intervened in a moped robbery. Grandmother of 3 Rosemary Budger was so incensed when she witnessed 2 men on mopeds trying to steal another man's Vespa that she sprang into action, grabbing the scooter's handlebars. She had been shopping near her home in Crouch End, North London on Monday morning with husband Hugh, 80. When she rushed into action, Rosemary, also 80, said, "I was looking for a cobbler and my husband Hugh had gone off somewhere else. And I just saw this scooter come towards me. There were two lads on it and they pushed the Vespa towards the pavement. This little chap jumped off the back and ran towards the man on the Vespa, so another old lady and I started shouting for people to call the police. I was so incensed that it was happening, but I work on impulse and these things shouldn't happen. Why would I let them take that poor man's scooter? I heard the boys on the moped had been stealing mobile phones, so I just wanted them to be caught. Then I heard the two men jump out the white van with what looked like scaffolding poles and the robbers rushed off in the other direction. The poor chap on the Vespa was very shaken up. He couldn't ride home because he had no keys, so he had to push his bike to the police station. Luckily, he had a spare set at home though. I just carried on with my day as normal after that. I mentioned to Hugh it was unusual, but I didn't think it would be a big deal. But this wasn't the mother of two's first act of bravery. She served in the Women's Royal Naval Service for 4 years in the 1950s. She followed in her war hero father's footsteps, working on aircraft in Malta after he died in World War II. After the war, Rosemary worked for Oxfam before moving to Canterbury, Kent, and completing a mixed humanities degree while working in the university library. Rosemary added, "My father died in the war. He was awarded a Distinguished Service Cross. When I was in the Navy in Malta, we saw such poverty in Libya and Tangier that when I came back, I worked for Oxfam. I met Hugh in 1961 when he was at university in Oxford training to be a doctor. And we married in 1965. She added, "We moved to Canterbury and I got a degree in mixed humanities and I worked part-time in the library until I retired at 65. I've always been busy, so this is nothing really. I'm very proud of having the bus stop near our home replaced for the disabled women who live in the flats up the road." Busy Rosemary also volunteers at Kew Gardens and Kenwood House and helps look after her grandchildren, aged 14, 10 and 8. She added, "I'm a keen feminist and I want people to see that there are 80-year-olds out there doing things with fighting spirit. Not just in hospital living off the NHS. We're on so many committees and look after our grandchildren. We're very busy." Rosemary added, "When I was young, women were expected to get married and have a husband to support them. My brother got to go to a fancy school, but because I didn't show enough interest in my studies, I was sent to a home economics college in Edinburgh. I was more interested in Meccano than in cooking. During the war, we went up to Scotland to get away from Plymouth, where my father was stationed. After I left school, I went to France for 6 months to live with a family my brother knew. He had a pen pal there, so I went off to help them with things. I was the same age as their daughter, so I stayed there for 6 months. After that, I joined up to the Navy and it was great. We got paid. We had friends. We were fed. I didn't get to go to university until after we'd had our daughters. And I got it half price because I was working in the library."